Hello to my beautiful friends out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro. And this is your monthly forecast for October 2025. We've already moved into fall, and October is a cleansing month because we have Mercury being the star of the month and Neptune moving back into Pisces at 29 degrees, along with Saturn at 26 degrees. And there are other planets that are following. Mars is in Scorpio. We have Mars. Mercury is going to start out in Libra, but we have Mars, Neptune, Saturn, and then we have the Sun, and Mercury will also move into Scorpio this month. So there's an emphasis on the water. Okay, water represents reflection. It also represents what you can't see. Okay, it is a portal as well. So with this water energy happening this month, we have this it's a recalibration. Neptune and Saturn moving back into Pisces is the opportunity, and the last one, to make sure that we have brought the things up that we need to let go of. And for some reason, for some of us, we forgot something, and that something needs to be addressed, and that's why they're back to show us the way. Okay, and then we have Pluto in Aquarius stationing direct, and with that direct motion, the retrograde already brought things to the surface. Now that it's at the surface, Pluto is taking action swiftly, quickly. So the cleanup is happening, and some of it is going to be whether you like it or not, okay? But I suggest that you go with the flow, because we still have the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. So this North Node energy, along with the Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, we need to, make sure that we set our boundaries going forward. And because Neptune and Pisces are boundless energies, and sometimes with that energy, you may want to overextend yourself. And with Neptune being here, Neptune wants us to recognize our fear from our intuition. And that's where the fog and the confusion happens with Neptune. Neptune is very spiritual. It wants us to be on our spiritual path and grow spiritually, very compassionate. But we always tend to reference Neptune with the fog and the confusion. However, there is a reason for that, because that is about us being more keen about what we are experiencing, and know that the experience is either fear-based or your intuition speaking to you. Okay, So I don't want to spend too much time on this intro. Let me see what else was there that I wanted to share with you outside of Pluto and Neptune. Okay, well, oh, all right. We do have the full moon in Aries, and that's happening on the 6th of this month. And, even though the full moon is about releasing, this is an action oriented full moon and taking charge and being assertive in your persona, period. Okay. There's also Chiron in this action as well, and Chiron is going to highlight where the wounds are. Okay. And with the full moon being in Aries, there's a lot of emotion behind that because Aries is the first house. And with the first house, it's all about your head and your body, your personality. So, somewhere, with this Aries full moon, you are needing to heal a certain part of yourself. And there's, so much healing going on this month with Neptune, Chiron, and Pluto. But for the most part, Pluto is about the collective, okay? But, there's still some personal issues for each of us. So let's talk about the rest in the forecast. So I'll see you there. Hello to my beautiful Gemini risings out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro, and this is your monthly forecast for October 2025. And for those of you who are Gemini Sun and Gemini Moon, you're welcome to check this forecast out as well, because if you know your Sun, Moon, and Rising, you will be able to gain more information for the month. Okay, so we are looking at an emotional month because there will be 5 planets in water signs this month. And we have a time where releasing the last bit of, things that we didn't know we were holding on to is happening for us this month. Okay, and we also have Aquarius moving direct. Not Pluto in Aquarius stationing direct. And this is going to bring up a purge of energy to the surface that we will be releasing once Pluto in Aquarius turns direct, okay? So on the 1st, we have Mercury in Libra, and it's going to be squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And the squares have to do with tension and personal growth, okay? So this is going to be affecting your 5th house of creativity, romantic partners, children, hobbies, speculation as well. Okay, and then Jupiter in Cancer is in your 2nd house of your finances, your possessions, your values, your self-worth. All right, So during this transit, you may want to pursue a new and exciting creative project, but it may conflict with your desire to maintain financial stability. You may overcommit your time and resources to a passionate pursuit without considering the financial implications. You may be prone to grand, exciting, and perhaps unrealistic ideas about creative ventures or romantic projects. And that part is about Jupiter in Cancer, expanding things and over exaggerating. Okay, so you may be drawn to new ideas or flirtatious conversations, because we have Mercury is all about communication. Okay. Unrealistic ideas and creative ventures or romantic prospects. Okay, so you may be drawn to new ideas. I just said that. Oh gosh. Overload of mental chatter. Now that's a Mercury thing. Romantic pursuits or creative ideas that feel exciting but pulls you into many directions, which makes it difficult for you to focus on what is truly important for your emotional and financial security. Okay, so hey, this is something you have to figure out, because this is a square and this is about growth, okay? And that's what the tension is there for, is for you to figure it out and know what's more important for you at this time during this the square. So on the 3rd, we have Mercury in Libra, and this is an opposition. This is opposites attract, right? And this again is happening in your, this opposition is with Chiron, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So wherever Aries is, this is where Chiron wants to help you heal that part of you, okay? So this is happening in your 11th house, and the 11th house has to do with your large group memberships, your social circles, maybe your work friends, and other organizations such as churches, if that's a part of your curriculum as well. So your desire for balance and harmonious creative expression, that's your 5th house with Libra, may be met with the frustration of group settings that feel overly competitive or dismissive, okay? You may feel a strong need to be fair and diplomatic when communicating your creative ideas, but you find that your social groups don't always welcome your approach. So finding ways to assert your individuality within your social circles without feeling wounded or excluded will heal your wounds there, okay? And we're talking about Gemini Rising, and you have a tendency to be that social butterfly, fitting in wherever you go, creating those light conversations. So just know that, this is a time where things may be a little serious than what you expect, okay? And again, this too shall pass, but again, this is about growth, recognizing what hurts and fixing it so that you can step into situations like that and not be affected by that, because it's not always about you. Other people have their problems too, and they may just be reflecting it on to you, you know. So don't take things so personal. All right, so on the 6th of October, we have Mercury moving into, let's see, okay, I see you. I'm looking at my record button. Mercury moving into Scorpio, and this is happening in your 6th house. And this is your house of daily routine, your health, your work, being of service, and your coworkers, subordinates, and authority figures. Okay, so here your thoughts and words become more probing and investigative. And because this month is highlighting Mercury, because Mercury is heavily involved in this month's forecast. So this is having to do with your communication, but with it being in Scorpio, Scorpio is, you know, it's that deep felt energy, you know, where they can look right into you, you know, and see what they see. And during conversations, they may want to uncover the truth behind your daily tasks, your health conditions, or they want to uncover the truth behind your health conditions, or the service you provide to others. You may find yourself delving deeply into problems, looking for hidden motives or flaws to streamline processes and improve efficiency. Now, that's something about Scorpio. Scorpio is investigative, you know, and they dive deep into matters, okay? So health concerns may become a topic of intent discussion, and you may feel a strong urge to analyze and improve your daily habits. Your secretive nature can bring a desire to hide information or a heightened suspicion in your workplace or concerning your health. And that's Scorpio as well. You know, they are secretive. They don't just blurt out all of the business. You know, you have to, you know, get close to them and, you know, be a part of, have some kind of connection with them in order for them to open up and share what's really going on, or even share what they think about life. So on the, I think it's still on the 6th, we have the full moon in Aries. Is happening at 8:47 p.m. here in Pacific Standard Time. And this is happening in your 11th house. And this is happening, this is the house of, you know, your large group memberships, your social circles, your friend groups, and your work groups as well. All right, so, you know, the full moon is about releasing, and it's in Aries, so this is a good time to clearly define and commit to future goals and dreams, as well as to establish your desires with your community. Reflect on who is in your circle and how it has evolved. You may find yourself being a strong initiator and energetic participant in your group, in your social groups. A release of emotional energy related to your hopes and aspirations may occur as well. Okay? So just let go of what no longer serves you there. You know, and if people have to go, they just have to go. Okay, so Gemini Rising, we're moving on to October 7th. where we have Mercury in Scorpio squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, so this tension is happening between your sixth house of daily routine, your work, health, and your ninth house of your spiritual, philosophical, religious beliefs, okay, as well as publishing, teaching, foreign travel, other cultures. So here, this transit, it has a tendency to heighten your desire to understand the hidden depths of matters, but can also lead to being overwhelmed by deep truths. So be, careful because sometimes, you may not want to hear the deep truth, but hey, if it shows up, you have to face it. Okay, you may experience power struggles here that lead to being overwhelmed by these deep truths. Okay, and with this ninth house, you're always exploring, the truth about what to believe, okay, and your spiritual parts of who you are. Because again, I'm going to say that the purpose of our existence is for us to remember who we are. And I'm not talking about who you are in a body form, I'm talking about who you are out of the body, okay? So, we are just avatars in the body, and it's also a temple, but our spirit is what we are connecting with here in this ninth house energy, okay? So let's get to it. Let me finish. Okay, you may experience power struggles, communication breakdowns, or intense disagreements with colleagues or superiors regarding your fundamental beliefs or your values or worldviews. Okay? Intense mental pressure, especially if you're struggling with communication in your work environment, may cause stomach upsets. Okay? So be careful there. With your sixth house represents your health, okay? And yeah, sixth house represents your health. And I can't think where Cancer is right now, but anyway, you are urged to transform your understanding of the world and your place in it and go beyond superficial interaction and embrace a deeper, more profound way of communicating your thoughts and beliefs. Okay? So this might take some soul searching, Gemini Rising, for you to really get to the heart of the matter, because sometimes for some of us, our understanding is, it goes in steps. Like, for instance, you may come from a religious family where religion is all that there is, but there's more to religion than that, because religion is an outside concept and your spirituality is an internal concept, okay? So you're really looking for the internal concept to bring you to your truth, okay? All right, so let me see if I finished here. Yes, so we're going to move on to the 13th, where Venus is moving into Libra, and Venus rules Libra, and this is happening in your third house of communication, siblings, childhood friends, your local community, short trips, and early learning. So, let's see, you may likely find your words are more persuasive and your ability to articulate your ideas is heightened, allowing for more harmonious interaction. That's Venus. You may have more of a diplomatic and charming approach to social situations. That's Venus, widening your social circle. So you may feel motivated to take short trips or engage in mental pursuits related to art, culture, and social issues. You may want to foster a strong connection with your siblings and improve your relationships with your intimate neighbors and community. Ooh, I almost went somewhere else here. Your appreciation for beauty heightened, and you may be drawn to creative projects or activities that involve aesthetic expression. Yeah, sometimes when I'm working on a Gemini chart, or just, yeah, if I'm just working on Gemini's chart, I sometimes get pulled, my mind will drift somewhere else. And just in that instant, it did. I had to, call myself back. So on the 14th, Pluto in Aquarius is stationing direct, and this is happening in your ninth house. Oh boy. So this is where all of that, the notions about religion, your beliefs, your philosophies, what was brought down to you from your lineage is been stirred up here, and there are things that have been pushed to the surface, and with Pluto stationed direct, this is something that you are going to be releasing and making room for some new beliefs, new ideas about who you are as a being, a spiritual being, okay? You may be compelled to confront ideas about a power or will greater than your own, okay? Questioning your spiritual or philosophical foundations here. You may feel an intense drive to bring your idealism to life through new intellectual or spiritual paths. Your belief systems may get a major overhaul, pushing you to better understand the world and your place in it on a much deeper level. You might feel a strong desire to break from established routines to make space for new ways of thinking, learning, and experiencing the world. Now, that's a big leap, but that's good for you because you're definitely going to be aligned with your spiritual self, getting to this point of your understanding of life's purpose. Okay, Gemini Rising. So we have the sun on the 16th. We have the sun in Libra, and it squares Jupiter in Cancer, and this is happening in your 5th house of creativity, romantic partners, your hobbies, children, risk-taking, and it's going to be squared to Jupiter in your 2nd house of finances, self-worth, your values, and your possessions. Okay? So you may, what's going on here? Let's see. You may have the tendency to be impulsive or excessive, or have excessive spending, or spend excessively on creative projects or social activities. okay? You may feel tension between your creative impulses and desires and your need to be physically responsible. And when I say physically, I mean financially, and secure your resources. Your urge to find ways to express your creativity and enjoy life without compromising your sense of security. Because you might, with Jupiter here in Cancer, you may want to overextend yourself and not be in a financial position to do that and do you as well, okay? Just so you know. So on the 21st, Gemini Rising, we have the new moon in Libra, and this is happening at 5:25 a.m. in your fifth house of creativity, your fifth house of romantic partners, your fifth house of children, your fifth house of hobbies. Okay, so this is a time to start new creative projects. It's a new moon, why not? Okay, and express yourself through art because it's in Libra. Libra, Venus, Taurus is all, creative art thinking. Okay, so have I said enough? Through art, writing, music, or other forms of play, fun, okay? Yeah, the fifth house is also about having fun. So this is an excellent time to seek or cultivate relationships that offer balance, harmony, and mutual respect. You may find renewed energy or interest in activities with children, or you could focus on your own inner child, which is good because after that square in your ninth house, or not the square, but the station, yeah, it is the square in your ninth house. After all of that, yeah, your inner child is calling. So you may be motivated to find equilibrium, your own equilibrium between work and pleasure, ensuring that your creative and personal pursuits feel fair and harmonious. Okay, you want to feel good about these things. All right, so on the 23rd, we have Neptune retrograding back to 29 degrees of Pisces in your 10th house. And this is your house of careers, your public reputation, your co-workers, your authority figures, your, if you are your subordinates. That's what I was trying to get to. Okay, so this is a call to journey inward because this is a retrograde. And during this retrograde, Neptune is coming back to Pisces to gather up any leftover stuff that you may have overlooked in the last retrograde in Pisces. Okay, and this is the final instance where Saturn and Neptune are going to be in Pisces. So they're really trying to clean up, clear out so that, release is necessary and have space for the new beginning that's happening when they move back into Aries. Okay? So here, I said this is a call to journey inward and reflect on what is ending in your life, okay? How you are letting go. You may reevaluate old beliefs and dreams related to your career, urging this time, I'm not urging, but using this time to dissolve outdated structures in your professional life. You're encouraged to take a deeper look into your motivations and recognize what serves you and the collective in your professional endeavors, okay? You can expect emotional fog, hidden truths, and confrontations with your unresolved patterns as you explore your unconscious mind and dissolve the illusions. Okay, so the illusions are the fears, okay? And it's your intuition that you need to be working with here, as well as setting some boundaries, because Neptune is boundless, okay, and you may find yourself stretching yourself far too thin. So create some boundaries, know how far you can go in helping anyone with anything, special projects. Try not to take on anything more than you can handle, or make sure that you know that you have the proper tools and the team to help you work through it. Okay? And the last thing we're going to talk about is the sun in Scorpio. And this is in your sixth house of daily routines, your health, your work, being of service. So you may find yourself deeply invested in serving others, whether through your work, daily chores, or helping those around you. You are encouraged to focus on your physical and mental health and address any underlying health issues. Address them. You feel a compelling need to understand the psychological intricacies, intricacies of your relationships with your co-workers, your subordinates, and your superiors. And this is because Scorpio is deeply in tune. You know, Scorpio is like intuitive. You know, they feel deeply, and they know, you know, what's happening, you know, around other people, because they feel that too. And they also are investigative types, you know. So they look into the psychological aspects and